Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Guru and Chewy back again with the latest episode of the ARPG Podcast where we talk about a lot of stuff. Sadly, today we have to begin with, tragedy, as the manga creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Has died in what I believe was a snorkeling accident.
Diving accident, yeah.
Yeah. And he has passed away at 60 years old, Kazuki Takahashi. And of course, a lot of people all around the world have been, doing the whole talking about what it meant. And I kind of wanted to do similar because, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a part of our childhood. Be it the anime cartoon that aired in YTV or the card game itself, which we played throughout most of our elementary school. So what do you want to start? Cartoon or card game?
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh! As much when I was a kid, so you can start with card game if you want.
I didn't play it too much. I think I stopped after GX was introduced. But it was fun. Like, again, I remember was always more we played Yu-Gi-Oh! Over Pokemon. And it was one of those things that really took your attention. It was a fun, easy card game that was really straightforward. And I think that's what made a lot of people like it, right? Plus, again, the monster designs. Who could not forget Blue Eyes White Dragon, right? Like, there was a lot of historic nature to it, right? But again, I think one of the things that really took us with Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the anime. And no matter how just absolutely, let's be real, the anime was never that great. But it was one of the things of our childhood. Like, it was probably one of the first animes people watched, even though it was just a cartoon to a lot of people. Right?
Yeah.
And when I was getting back into anime back in 2015, the first thing I watched was the entire series of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh shit, you went back and rewatched it.
Yeah. One of the first things I watched was the entire series of Yu-Gi-Oh! And who could forget the corniness of, like, Joey, right? And how he would win decks just with the same combination all the damn time, right? In Duelist Kingdom, it was Time Wizard and Baby Dragon, right?
Yep.
In Tournament Arc, it was Jinzo. Like, it was just one of those things where it's like, we looked past the frustration just because we were entertained as kids.
Yeah.
But one thing I will always say about it is, even if, like, the show itself was never great, Seto Kaiba is one of the most ridiculous fucking characters in the history of anime. Like, just some of the lines he said is ridiculous. But I want to take a look at the final movie, right? So if you don't know, there was a movie released a couple years ago with the old cast, right?
Was it the where all the old main characters and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the one where it's like that wasn't the one where the collab between the series. It's the one you're talking about, the one that's like Blue Eyes White Dragon and all came back.
I believe I'm talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions. Essentially, this was one released worldwide in 2017, where it takes place after the second anime series, right? So it takes place after the Pharaoh left, right? So you know how the series ends with the battle between Yugi and the Pharaoh as a way for the Pharaoh to pass on, right? It takes place after that. And the whole anime, the whole movie, is literally Seto Kaiba trying to resurrect the Millennium Puzzle so he can duel the Pharaoh. That's it. That's the whole premise. And the best part is how the thing ends, right? So after the villain is defeated, it shows Kaiba
transporting his consciousness to the afterlife.
He essentially time travels back to the desert. So back to the time of Pharaoh Tem. And the thing ends with Pharaoh Tem standing up and Kaiba literally activating his dual disc, which, as one of the videos pointed out, literally could be seen as like alien witchcraft, right? And it ends with just them smiling at each other, preparing to duel. It's just the most Kaiba thing ever. And if there's one thing I will take away from this series, it's Kaiba. Kaiba is just the most ridiculous character I've ever seen. There's another clip I want to pull out where
says here in the synopsis, he used his technology in conjunction with the quantum cube to transfer his own consciousness to the afterlife. He went to the afterlife to fight Pharaoh Adam.
And the series ends with, and that movie ends with him and the Pharaoh just standing there smiling. But like, the thing about, like, Kaiba makes Yu-Gi-Oh! In my opinion, because without it, it's a little generic, right?
Yeah, they don't have the
it's
thing that
generic.
Kind of
it never really had the pull that Pokemon had.
Well, I'm not sure.
Pokemon found a way to really connect with people. I'm gonna be honest. After the first series of Yu-Gi-Oh, I had no interest in watching it again. But what I was gonna say, the best Kaiba line is when they're dueling darts in the third season, right? So, you know, the seal of the cosmos and whatnot, right?
Okay, yeah.
And Darts looks at Kaiba and he says, "You wouldn't want to damage the souls of your friends, right?" Kaiba looks at him and says, "I'm the president of a major corporation. I have to do that on a daily basis."
Thanks.
Like, he's just so, like, again, if you look at, like, the characters, they all feel very meta to the type of show it was, right? Like, you got the underwhelming idiot in Yugi, right? The guy who's there to make the viewer root for. Then you got Yami, the strong, confident man, right? You got the idiot in Joey, and then you got the hapless idiots who are nothing there just to shout exposition at you, right? And then you got Kaiba. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so ridiculous in its characters, it's so ridiculous in its stereotypes, and yet that first season is still one of my favorite things.
I mean,
what about you? You must have watched it a bit.
I watched it a bit. The first season was, kind of, But yeah, I don't know. But the foundation it laid down, I think, was what more affected me than anything else, because I really like GX, and 5Ds is okay.
I never, like I said, after like Duel Monsters, like after the Pharaoh was gone, I kind of tuned out of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't there a Yu-Gi-Oh you really hated?
Yeah, it's like the current ones right now.
Yeah.
It's like this 7. It's like Rush or something, or 7 something, 7Ds or whatever, some Rush. and it's the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise just trying to make their game, I guess, conform to what people want right now, which is they don't want it to be that complicated. They want it to be quick, and they kind of want it to be over type of thing.
And yet Yu-Gi-Oh is now more known for those convoluted moves that can end the game in one turn.
Yeah, but Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't want to go that way. They're going.
It's weird.
They're doing, which is what they're calling now rush duels, which is the field is now super minimized to like three monster slots, 3 magic slots, and magic and trap slots, and there's no like sacrificing or whatever monsters. You just throw them down type of thing.
Interesting.
And I think it's a hand of like, I think it used to be like 6 or something. It's like a hand of 4 now. You could just keep throwing all the cards down, and the life points went down, I think, to 1,000 or 2,000 or something. It used to be like 4,000 and 8,000. Actually, it's just crazy. So they really changed everything. So yeah, that's the current way of playing Yu-Gi-Oh, or they're trying to pull out, that I don't like. But like I enjoyed Arc 5 okay-ish, and it's more 5Ds and GX, and like, what was the other one? Mm-hmm. The series after the original Yu-Gi-Oh that I really enjoyed. The manga wasn't too bad. I mean, I read a little bit of it. It was very different, though. Very, very different from how Yu-Gi-Oh came out as, even in anime-wise. Very, very different. Have you seen the original manga?
No. I actually never read the manga.
So basically, the original character of the pharaoh was not that he just like. I think they talked about it in the first season, second season, and stuff like that. But he was like the king of games and stuff like that. And they didn't like. I think of the series itself, it started to just completely.
Well, one thing I remember is that like one of the references that like in the source material is a little more hardcore.
That, and like it wasn't revolved around duel monsters. By the way, that's the game. That's the name of the game actually in the universe. It's not called Yu-Gi-Oh. It's called Duel Monsters. And so they kind of sealed that though in the anime series, but in the manga, yeah, it's way more hardcore. Like Yugi utilizes the power of the Pharaoh Adam to punish like people by playing games with them, and if they lost, they would take the punishment. And it was like brutal. Some of those punishments are like really like, damn, dude. You just put a curse on that guy pretty much in the sense.
Well, I mean, a lot of the things you got to remember is like when Yu-Gi-Oh was like, oh, he's sent his shot, like it was meant to be much more brutal. Like one thing I always point out is that remember in Duel Monsters when he fought the guy, the star guy, the ghoul guy, the guy who was there just to like chase down, take stars from people, right?
Mm-hmm. And he sends them to the Shadow Realm and stuff like that. Yeah.
Apparently it was like meant to be much more brutal.
Yeah. No, it's kind of crazy, the punishments that were put on. But the fact that he played like a whole bunch of different games, that was kind of crazy too. It's like, oh wow, he's just playing everything at this point. I think one was I forget what it was called now. I think it was like John Ken Pawn or something.
That's just rock paper scissors.
A variation of it. Yeah, it was so weird. Literally like just like John Ken Pawn.
I just wanted to acknowledge his passing, considering how much of an effect he had on not only us, but like the entirety of the anime community and manga community, and especially the TCG. Right? Because the TCG was it was important, right?
Oh, definitely.
Next
upstairs.
next up on the list, I wanted to talk about the fact that K-san has apparently has joined VShojo.
Yeah.
That was an interesting thing to wake up to, I will say. And it's not in the fact that I don't think it's a good decision for her. I do, but like it was just like I think a lot of people are underestimating the difference in types of, well, essentially the difference in companies, right? Because I saw a lot of people saying, oh, she could convince EN girls to go there. I'm like, no, she fucking couldn't. Because we need to look at what companies want, right? And the difference between them. So VShojo is essentially offline TV. I'm using offline TV as an example because you know offline TV, right? So essentially VShojo is a corporation that is there as like, you get to be part of our brand, but you still get to do whatever you want type thing, right? Essentially, they're more there to support people.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Why would anybody in Hololive want to join that when they want to be idols, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of looking at what a lot of people really do not understand the difference between the companies. Yeah. So like VShojo, like I said, you get more of like, you get to remain indie, but you get to like do your own thing while having this big brand behind you to support you if you need, right? Okay. Niji Sanji is more about like, we do have some, they're really going hardcore into the music, which is not shocking, but they're more about like, we want you to be hardcore live streamers, right? Okay. And of course, Hololive is creating idol entertainers. Mm-hmm. There's a difference in everything. And when people want to join Hololive, they don't want to join Hololive just because, oh, we want to join it. They understand we're gonna step into the idol spectrum. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I'm so annoyed at seeing people like, oh, K-san, she can pull over the EN girls, right? It's just like, no, you fucking idiot, because the people who join Hololive want to be idols. If they wanted to join VShojo, they wouldn't want to be idols now, would they, right?
They're very different. It's more just streamers, I guess, more bored.
Or they join Niji Sanji, right?
It's it's different, very different. I don't know. Yeah, I get it.
Like, it's one of those things where like people speak out of their ass without actually sitting here and looking at like what somebody would want, right? Mm-hmm. And I really do think it's Western's hatred of idol culture for no reason. Like, don't get me wrong, idol culture has its issues, but what culture doesn't?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm sitting here just like, you know what? I don't like the bad things about idol culture just as like much as I don't like the bad things about political culture or sports culture.
Otaku culture.
Like, again, culture. One thing I'm glad that happened is the Vox situation, because it finally showed that these parasocial psychopaths isn't an idol culture thing. It's a boyfriend-girlfriend experience thing.
It's how people create parasocial relationships and how they view streamers and stuff like that.
And when it happened to Rushia, by the way, the report is that Rushia is that second person.
Second person
joining VShojo, since there was two.
Oh, yeah, Ninomiya, whatever, yeah.
I think it was like Ayanamiya or something.
Yeah, Ninomiya something,
yeah. And all I have to say to that, if it is her, good luck. I do not think it's a good place for her to be, because I've made myself perfectly clear. I think she should have just went away to heal. Like, we've already seen that the people around her still are not leaving, right? Yeah. So, like, she's still getting antis attacking her all the time. And I'm thinking her jumping back into the spotlight like this is not a good thing. If it is her, right? All we have is a voice. But what I was again going on in is just people don't seem to understand what people want, right? They blame, and I think it's because the Westerns dislike for idol culture.
Okay. Yeah.
But again, I agree with Case on joining V Shoujo. It makes sense for her if she wanted to join a company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it allows her to remain independent. She gets the support she needs. It's kind of like similar to Callie joining Universal Music. She's still part of Hololive. She's still doing the things with Hololive. It's just now she has even more support with music.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to what Kayson's doing. I'm looking forward to what that second girl will do. Will I ever like V Shoujo? No, not really. I find most of their people in it to just be unappealing, overly sexual, and just not entertaining. The only person I really enjoy is Mousy, but that's because she's the only one who feels like she's just not really trying. Like, if people want to say, well, what about like Marine and Matsuri? I'm just like, yeah, those two are horny as fuck. But anytime I watch V Shoujo, it feels like I'm watching somebody just never stop being sexual. I enjoy Shy Lily, who's not V Shoujo, from time to time. Her clips are entertaining. But my God, is it just so much just sexual jokes and whatnot? It just gets to the point of just like, I just want to watch somebody to be entertained, right? Like, you can feel what I'm seeing. You can feel what I'm getting there.
Are you basically saying, like, I kind of get what you're laying down? Is it more like, instead of building your entire idol image around the fact that you're just like unsay so, it's more around the lines of you enjoy people who have the unsay so part as just being part of it, but it's not like the main base type of thing?
Well, I mean, let's use Marine for an example, right? Let's be real. One of her quirks is that she is disgustingly horny at times. But it's not at an overwhelming pace where it's the only thing I can see about her.
Because there's a lot of gap boy and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Like, the only two V Shoujo people I look at to see that I could enjoy are Fruit and Mousy.
Then Treya is actually really good too.
And Treya's okay, but I mean, the automated, like, the text-to-speech thing can just get degrading a bit.
It's weird, but, you know, that's her thing.
But it's her choice, and she's made a killing for it. I don't know why her fucking 3D model needs to have an ass the size of the Himalayas.
Talk to the papa or mama about that.
Like, it's just, I never look at V Shoujo as something that's just like, it feels like they're just Western streamers, right?
I mean, they are.
Yeah, and that's like, I've never connected to Western streamers. And you can say, well, what about Hololive? It's something different there. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to put it, but there's something different there. But anyway, I do think Kason is going to do wonders, as she always does. If that second person is Rushia, I wish her all the best. I think she's making a bad choice. I've stated multiple times, I believe she should have just left and fucked off for a while to, heal. But if she believes she can jump back on the horse, that's up to her. I'll still support her. And yeah, no, that's pretty much it when it comes to that. Is there anything you want to bring up?
I was gonna say more they're like really super no filter unapologetically Western. A lot.
Yeah, but fucking Matsuri's no filter.
Yeah, but not. I don't know how to really say it either. Maybe it's more the lines that. Maybe it's more the lines of VSojo are just trying to are just really just entertainers more than performers.
Well, I think again it's because VShojo's not a company; they're a brand.
Well, no, sorry. Well, that too, but like the streamers that they gathered, they're more entertainers than they are looking at the performance sides.
But everyone is an entertainer.
No, yeah, I get it, but they're more they're like they're more towards that side, completely into the entertaining, and it's more Western sort of side of entertainment. Whereas,
sure, but I think every single person who's a streamer is into entertainment.
Yes, they are. And Marcel, you're not. It's, but you're looking at. I think Hololive also. Not only are they entertainers for sure, it's more. They're also performers. They're also. Like, as you said before, they're more putting it to the idol sort of things in a way.
But again, Chewy, what I'm saying is that doesn't mean anything to me. Because I consider any streamer a performer, especially with the fact that Mousy, Nanners, and I want to say Silvervale performed at a concert last year.
I guess. Maybe it's just the Western Eastern type of feel.
Maybe. I also just think most of them are too overly sexual for me.
Maybe it's just that, though.
Like, it's hard for me to get into them. Like I said, the only people I really consider myself get into are what's her name? Fruit and Mousy.
Maybe it is just that then.
But like I don't know what's the difference between Niji, En, and all that.
Oh.
And Hololive, like, why is it bad there? And I just think it's mostly because, again,
why is it bad there?
Again, VShojo's not a company; they're a brand.
Yeah, no.
So they don't have company policies. They don't nobody can deny that. Like Hololive and Niji Sanji and every single company out there has like an idea they want, right?
Yeah.
Like we want our entertainers, we want our performers, we want our talents to line up towards this, right? Or we want to be closer to this type thing, right? Because I think it's naive to assume that they don't. I don't think VShojo has something like that because, again, they're more like offline TV than anything.
Yeah. It's a group and name type of thing.
Mm-hmm. It's also strange to find out that, like, the third highest subscribed VTuber agency is actually Virtual Esports Project.
It's amazing.
Yeah. They're one of the smaller ones. One reason I bring that up is they had a new debut just a couple weeks ago. You know Mio's Papa, Izumi?
Yeah.
He was the artist behind it, and it's just absolutely brilliant. And there's a report going around that she's actually a reincarnation of a recently graduated Niji Sanji person.
Oh.
It was the Niji Sanji Korea. I believe her name was Bora. Let me check. Yeah, her name was Bora.
It's called VSPO, and an abbreviation of Virtual Esports Project is an esports focused agency that houses multiple esports teams. Oh my gosh. Lupinus Virtual Games, Iris Black Games, and Cattleya Regina Games. As well as several solo members. The agencies Brave Group. 3 million subscribers total.
So, what is their main focus?
They mostly just focus on the esports side of things. A lot of them are into Apex and whatnot.
So they play the games and then they report on them and stuff like that, or like talk about it?
They don't report on them, but like they participate in a lot of tournaments. Like, remember the Apex tournament a couple months ago with that had Start End?
Mm-hmm. All those ones?
Yeah, there was a lot of them in there. So like Azumi Senna was playing with Matsuri, whatnot, right? What was her name? Emma Aizawa was there as well. She was playing. I believe one of the Kaga sisters was there as well.
Okay.
And like, you see them participate in tournaments all the time.
Okay.
But like, they are good. And I enjoy them.
So like I'm focusing on the. Okay.
They mostly play the shooters and whatnot. Some of them play Rust. Emma herself, she plays Minecraft every now and then.
That's interesting.
But like, if you look at their plays outside of like the occasional single player, it's mostly Valorant. It's mostly Apex.
Mm-hmm.
You see some Rust, PUBG.
Mm-hmm.
Emma, she just started a Dragon Quest XI playthrough, actually, that's been pretty fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them do songs as well, but they focus more on like we are like hardcore gamer type things. And also Emma, her designer is Fauna's mother.
Oh,
Asagi Mama, and you already know how much I love Asagi Mama's designs. But yeah, it got so bad there was a Valorant thing where the talents got suspended for a bit.
Yeah, there was some weird scandal there, smurfing controversy.
Yeah, it was a scandal where Kaga and them got suspended. But like, they've been around for a while. They've debuted. Kaga Sumeri debuted in 2018. So like, they've been around for a while. But yeah, no, that's what I just wanted to talk about there. And the final thing I wanted to talk about is this. So we know Kiara, right? Takanashi Kiara, beautiful Phoenix. She did a 3D birthday stream by going to Amelia Watson's house, right? And that, of course, led to the Myth-Off collab, which was awesome. But then it led to people suggesting that Cover should once again put a US 3D studio in there. And again, people don't understand how businesses work. So Chewy,
huh?
you understand traveling a bit, right?
Yeah, what about it?
So, let's say right now, right? Cover works to put a 3D studio in America.
Okay.
Where would they put it?
I don't know.
Right? Because traveling from the East Coast to the West Coast of America is a full day trip, right?
Well,
we have...
I mean, if you're flying, yeah, I guess. If you're flying,
yeah. We have EN in, like, every part of North America, right? We don't know where any of them are, in a sense. We could assume that Gura's East Coast because she tends to say, I'm streaming at 8 p.m. EST, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Ame's West Coast, so where do you put it, right? Because they're just like, we need it in there so they could do 3D stuff because we're fucking idiots who don't understand that traveling to Japan may be quicker.
Oh.
Like, just think about that. You put it in there, where are you going to put it? You still have to travel. Like, everything they're saying is like, we need to reduce travel because we're fucking idiots. But, again, you're still not reducing travel because they still have to travel, right?
This is a very heated topic for you, is it?
I don't like this topic. I really don't. Because I'm always looking at the business and logical side. And how is Cover supposed to make their money back here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it. They have the studio in Japan, which they rent out to the talents, right?
Yes.
So that's how they get their money back from it.
Okay. Yes.
So how would they get their money back from a similar studio being in America?
Because, yeah, not all the...
Like,
not
we got
all...
six talents in North America.
Yeah.
Mume, Fauna, Crony, Watson, Ina, and Guru.
Yeah. There's not enough of there's not enough of them to keep renting out the thing. So what do they do to that then? It
could work in Indonesia just because you've got 9 talents there and it's one country, right?
I don't really know how big.
But this leads me to this question: is like, okay, say you put a studio in North America, right? What's stopping the girls from just going to Japan?
Yeah, it's fair.
like assume a perfect world, right? Japan's open, you can go. What's stopping the girls from just going to Japan, right? Traveling there might be quicker. Because again, they're all in different places around North America. So where are you going to put it, right?
I guess it also depends on where you are in Indonesia, but like, yeah, I guess you could get away with just putting it.
You can get away with it a bit more in Indonesia since Indonesia's smaller than America.
Definitely is, yeah.
But then you ask the question, well, wouldn't the Indonesian girls just go to Japan?
I mean, they can, but then it's also just another trip in itself.
But it's just one of those things where, like, I could see it working easier in Indonesia just because it's smaller. But in North America, you got 6 talents. It's fucking massive. Like, let's say you put it in LA, right? You still have all the people in East and Central who have to go across the country, right?
You also have Crony, who's confirmed Canadian now, has to cross the border and go somewhere.
Well, she's confirmed Canadian. I don't know if she lives in Canada.
Oh, well, maybe she's moving out. But,
assuming Crony does live, she still has to cross the border. And it's one of those things where people just don't look at logistics. It makes no viable sense for Cover to put a 3D studio in North America.
Until we get maybe some more talents there.
You need at least 12, maybe 13 total. And even then, you sit there and you say to yourself, okay, when Japan's open, where are they going to go? They're going to go to Japan.
Yeah.
Like, they will easily go to Japan. Because A, travel is very likely going to be cheaper there. B, the JP senpais and kohais. C, Iris. D, it's a studio that's probably going to be a lot easier to use because Cover's more centralized there. Because again, you got to think, Cover's then going to have to, you put a studio in America, Cover's then going to have to hire people, understand the legal laws in America, and go through all that nonsense. Well, by the time that's all set up, Japan will be open.
Yeah, it probably make more sense, honestly, to maybe just company saves up and, actually pays maybe for the for the talents, the international talents to come over to Japan and just get their 3D models done.
Well, the 3D models are done for Myth. It's more the 3D debuts.
Okay, we'll do the 3D debuts there.
Like, then. It would not shock me if that first trip over Covers just like, we will cover everything.
Yeah, it would make more sense to do that, honestly.
But like after that, the second and third trips, again, it may just be easier to go to Japan.
Yeah, until we get like what, 2 more generations worth of maybe Hollow-y, and that like, and most of the talents live in the sort of America area.
Is that EN is around the world too?
No, yeah, as a
PR in Europe,
which is what I'm saying. If we get 2 or 3 more generations, and we find majority of them live around the North America area,
yeah, then it becomes more feasible. Then it becomes more logical, right?
Because then you probably would have at least 14, like 13, 12 people there.
15 to 20, 15 people there. I could see it working. It barely survived because, again, it's just there's so much in Japan for them that is a benefit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Traveling is easier there. It's easier to get around the country. There's senpais and kohais that they want to meet are there. And then we also need to consider Cover, like they'd have to pay for staff, pay for everything to just set up the studio, right? No, it's just one of those things that never made any sense to me. And it was brought up a lot because of the whole Ame and Kiara working together, even though, like, it was pretty good to begin with. Like, that 3D live was pretty nice. I can't wait, though, for when EN can get to Japan so the 3D lives feel less recorded.
Yeah, so it probably wouldn't work out to constantly just keep going to Ame because she has the mocap suit and everything.
Well, yeah, and again, traveling and whatnot. Like, look at again, when I was talking, like, me and Chewy and a couple of friends are planning a trip for Japan in February. And when I was talking to the travel agent, she mentioned how, like, eventually prices to Japan will start getting less. Like, before the pandemic, prices to Japan were $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. So again, it just may be far easier for the talent to travel to Japan as well. But anyway, that's enough about, like, HoloLive stuff and whatnot. Let's talk about the anime that's aired this week. As we've got a decent amount, actually. Out of everything I'm watching this season, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 shows have aired.
I haven't watched the Danmachi one. Is it out?
Well, Danmachi hasn't aired yet. The only shows that haven't aired yet for me are Mao-sama, so Devil's a Part-Timer 2, but that airs in a couple days. And the only other one was Danmachi, which airs in about another 2 weeks. Other than that, everything I'm watching is aired.
I honestly don't remember besides Danmachi and Overlord.
Well, I'm going to start from the top. Okay.
I remember wanting to watch.
I'm going to start from the top, and the first show I'm going to start with is Classroom of the Elite, Season 2. Essentially, they are playing Among Us.
Yay!
Yeah, the first episode brought in an interesting thing where, like, they're trying to find the VIP.
A VIP.
And it's weird. I don't know. Classroom of the Elite to me has always felt like a show that it throws so much at you.
Oh fuck, Orient 2. I forgot that's
I ain't watching that. But Overlord had its first episode.
Yes.
I loved it. I loved every single second of it. One of my favorite parts was when Ainz was talking to the guild master. And how he was trying to, like, rebuild his kingdom, and he made the declaration there that he's going to turn it into a utopia for all races. And the interesting thing is how you learn that the guild don't go into kingdom affairs, right?
Yeah, because they're for the people, essentially.
Yeah. And as the guy said, he never wanted to... The guild was never meant to end or lead into a war.
Yeah.
Right?
You're just gonna
so as you say, you're for the people. And of course, this is where Ainz, calls them on it. Are you for the people or are you just for humans, right? And that's when, he makes his declaration to the maid at the end that this is going to be a utopia for everyone, right? And the interesting part of the end of it is how he's going to make it a utopia for everyone. But one of the reasons is because if his friends are in the world, maybe they'll notice.
Yeah.
Like, I always like the little bits of this show, because as our friend Arshaden pointed out, crazy succubus lady, Albedo. She's still trying to find Ainz's former comrades, right? But while Ainz is trying to find them because, they're his best friends, Albedo's trying to find them because she wants to pretty much kill them for abandoning them. And she's worried that if they show back up, Ainz is gone. So, like, there's a lot of little things in Overlord that make this show just so... It's one of those things where it pulls you in, right? I also just like Ainz's getup. The whole bright yellow and red shirt. It makes the character stand out, and I love it. You got anything yet, or have you not watched anything?
I watched Overlord. It was good.
Yeah, do you have anything on it?
I mean, I kind of like where it's setting up. I have been. The whole misunderstanding of things still.
Alright, what about Isekai Oji-san?
I didn't watch it yet.
I watched the first episode. It wasn't drop at episode 1, that's what I will say. And it brings in the interesting premise of seeing, like, an isekai person after it's done, right?
Yeah.
But a couple things. One, it is hideously ugly.
I told you, it's not pretty.
Like,
pretty sure I said this is so detailed.
The character models themselves are okay, right? Like, I enjoy even looking at them in the manga. Like, they don't look that bad. But my god, does it not translate well to the anime? The anime is not fun to look at.
It is ugly.
And then it felt so random at times. Like, it just kind of felt like it was just flying by the seats of its pants. Like, I'm interested to see where it goes, but I also look at it and say to myself, I don't really see this show. It would shock me if this show got to anything above a 6.
Fair.
Like, I know this is judging it harshly right now, but, like, that first episode did not do it for me.
I mean, reading the first chapters of that was very hard to go through for sure, but I don't know. It showed a little of appeal with the stupidity of it after a while, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just run through it. So maybe it's probably just be a low score.
Like, maybe it'll become something.
Maybe.
But another show I watched is Made in Abyss Season 2. You ever watch a show where you say, okay, this is gonna rip my heart out?
And it did?
It will. Like, I'm watching this and it's just like, we're going to get really dark, because the first episode was essentially showcasing the route to the Golden City. But this Golden City is a place where once you get in, you can't leave. They call it the capital of the unreturned.
That's lovely.
And the way it introduces it is just, it introduces it via this group of misfits who were essentially branded as, like, people to go there. And it's just really, you get this dark feeling in it from the outset.
Okay.
Because the corp that goes there is called the Ganja Suicide Corpse.
Okay.
Because these people are not meant to come back.
Great.
So I'm interested to see how this, rips my heart out again. they introduced some of the characters of the Ganja Suicide Corps. And I am very interested to see where this goes.
Was there already 2 episodes of Utawara Rumono?
Yeah, it had a double episode.
Oh.
We could talk about that right now.
You can go to the next one, it's fine.
Okay. Up next is Call of the Night.
I don't think I was watching this one at all.
Yeah, this one I was watching, and it's again, the whole show's premise is built around this idea. We are seeing people where they are the least stressed, right? Everyday life doesn't matter. They're just there to relax, maybe let off some steam, have some fun, right? Because again, when you're hanging out in the middle of the night, what's there to care about, in a sense?
What's there to care about?
Well, no, it's more like they're people who aren't held down by like the whole issues of life, right? There's no boss breathing down your neck. There's no bills you have to worry about paying. Right?
Okay.
So, like, you're kind of seeing people at a point in their life where they have just this freedom. And that's the one thing I took away from that episode is the idea that the night is freedom. So let me just scroll down.
That's interesting.
So, like, in the first episodes, when the main character says it feels so free, or the main female goes, "You'll never be satisfied if you don't release your inhibitions," or what it means to enjoy the night, that type of stuff. Like, you get this feeling it's people who are just kind of needing a place to just, relax. It also just so happens that one's a vampire. Yeah, it was one of the more intriguing episodes, to say the least. Made by Studio Linden Films. They're the guys who are working on the next season of Tokyo Revengers.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, so that'll be coming up. Up next is a couple shows I haven't watched yet, which are Shadow's House and Sorry Demu, the one about the shogi girl.
Yeah.
Which I'm interested in. I want to focus on Utaro Mayo next.
Okay.
I like this show. I like this show so much. And the first episode really did a good job at establishing the themes of the majority of the first part. So,
I honestly had to go I had to go back and watch the first season.
Well, spoiler alert for season 2. Haku is forced to take the position of Oshitoru because in season 2, the guy is dead, right?
Yeah.
So, like, he's forced to take over that, but he's forced to do it in a way where he has to reveal to his friends that Haku is dead. Right? So now he has fully become Oshitoru. And the only people who know that are Haku himself, the Arabic whores, I don't know what the fuck call them.
Arabic whores?
But they're just... It's like there's Sarana and...
the twins, yeah, whatever.
Twins.
Yeah.
Like, the way they dress reminds me of Arabic. They're nothing more than sexual eye candy. But, as I was saying, those are the only people that know.
Yeah.
Everybody else thinks Haku's dead. And a lot of the first part of this show is going to be the reactions to that, right? So we see how... what's her name? The girl princess. We see how Kira reacts Ogi, Jacques Dewat. And all those people, they all react to the fact that Haku's dead. But the thing I like the most is the Nakone aspect, because Nakone is this young girl, right? Who's been nothing but like this extremely just like confident girl.
Mm-hmm.
Now she has to participate in a lie that not only is her brother dead, right?
Yeah.
But she has to pretend that her brother's alive.
Because she knows, yeah.
Yeah, because she can't reveal that Ostor is actually Haku.
Yep.
And like, that's what made when I played the game so awesome, is that whole aspect in the first, which dominates the first half, is really, really well written. And it's just going to get better because Huon is going to return, right? And of course, she's going to be like, Huon's whole goal in this whole thing is like finding the truth. But like, there's great characters. Like I've pointed out, Mikazuchi is amazing. I loved him in the game. I love him in the anime. I think there's some good characters too. I love the fathers of some of the girls. Look, I'm just really excited. And the fact that it's confirmed to have 28 episodes, it's going to be spicy. But the two originals I want to focus on now, which were Licorice Recoil and Engage Kiss. Like you mentioned them there, right?
Licorice Recoil?
Yeah, Licorice Recoil and Engage Kiss.
Oh. I don't know about Engage Kiss. I don't think I watched Engage Kiss.
Well, Licorice Recoil.
Oh, that one. Nope.
Well, I'm watching it.
Licorice Recoil, I haven't gotten to the first episode yet.
Yeah, I'm watching it, and it's interesting. I kind of like how it has charm. That's the one thing you notice. It has charm. And it's one of those situations where, like, we have this, like, cold, edgy person who's forced to be put with somebody who, on the outside, seems aloof. Right? But in reality, is like, they call her the best agent, right? And you see a showcase of that. So, it was an entry. It has charm. And the other A1 original, I will say, did not do as much as Licorice Recoil did. But it has an interesting take to it. Essentially, demons and whatnot, right? And it turns out one of the demons is helping them. So that pink-haired lady in the thing. So if you ask me, like, what do I expect more out of? Probably Licorice. Licorice feels like it's more well put together.
Okay.
But I do think, like, these two A1 originals probably gonna end up being halfway decent. Now, outside of that, there isn't. I have Classroom and Lily here on twice. Whoops. Outside of that, there's a couple shows that aren't new that I'm watching. You know, like Shikimori continue to be mundane, average at best. Aoashi had an interesting episode.
Still watching.
So the main character goes through this epiphany, right? Where he's like, okay, I'm really good at passing. And they have a moment where, like, it was a great game, right? Fantastic game. And then the episode ends with the coach saying, we're switching you to left back. You're no longer going to be playing a forward anymore. And it's one of those things where I'm just like, this could make me fall in love with this show. Because I agree. Like, everything the coach said is right. It's so, like, this is what I wanted from this show.
Yeah.
Like, everything the manager said is right.
Yeah.
He won't be a good forward. He does not have the explosive power.
No. Not that explosive power. No,
he doesn't have the explosive power. He doesn't have the speed needed. And yet, if he plays a left back, he could be magical.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what, it just, watching, and like, you knew what was going to happen when he told him that. Because it's at that point where Aoi just breaks down.
At be forward.
And it really shows his immaturity. And like, I love it. It is the type of thing this show needed. And then, of course, Aoshi, of course, is absolutely destroyed, right? He was just told, yeah, you can't play the position you've kind of played your whole life and you've built your whole character around, right? You can't play that. And I'm very interested to see how he gets to playing left back, right? So I like it. I liked it a lot. And this is exactly what I want Aoshi to be.
Story of growth, of maturity.
Well, growth, but also
of challenges, of difficulties, of realism.
Yeah, it's removing the frustration I had with it. Because now you see why he was brought there.
Because they were never going to position him in that kind of area.
As the manager said, you were the last piece of the puzzle. My goal was always to put you in left back.
Yeah.
So, like, that really does make this show much better in my eyes. And then, of course, there's summertime rendering.
Oh.
It's so good. Essentially, this episode was showcasing that one of the main villains, Hein, has the ability to time travel as well. So when Shinpei loops, Hein is following him the whole time. So now it's getting to now it's at the point where, okay, now that we know Hein has this ability, how is Shinpei going to get around that, right?
How are you going to combat people who can loop with you? Who can loop?
Like, how are you supposed to defeat somebody who knows exactly every move you're going to make? Since this was the 5th loop, right? And he followed what happened to a T, only to have Four-Armed Shadow Man jump out, kill Hizuru, and almost defeat everybody until Ushio killed Shinpei to send him back in another loop. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get over it. The latest episode ended with Shinpei being sent to the past, revealing how Hizuru knows Hein, right? And in this episode, Hizuru states that she knew Hein, she was her friend, and that Hizuru's brother was killed by Hein. So it'll be very interesting to see. I'm still upset that Disney refused to simulcast this. And like, it's just, how can you lock it behind it? It's insane. But like, if you ask me what's going to end up near show of the year, like I said, Spy X Family was the show of the spring, but summertime rendering is not that far behind.
Oh.
It's that good.
Well,
But yeah, that's it for me for what I watched. What
I
about you?
literally just watched Overlord first episode, and I think that was it.
Oh.
Because I didn't get the damn match. Damn match hasn't come out yet. What was the other one though? It was Isekai Yakyoku. Hasn't come out yet.
What about Isekai Oji?
Oh, I didn't watch that episode yet.
Well, it's on Netflix, so you have to watch it via fucking
Pirating.
Pirate Bay.
I ain't gonna do that. I don't want to go in all that trouble. Find it. Maybe I'll get to it eventually. I don't know. Maybe I'll wait. I feel like I'm gonna wait for a couple more episodes just so I could binge it a little more. Elite Classroom, I was actually thinking of doing it as soon as I finish first season, which I will be soon. So I'll get to that. But no, yeah, the pharmacy one hasn't come out. Oh yeah, Recoil. I was gonna watch Recoil earlier. Utareru Muno. I'm rewatching first season because I just want to rewatch first season.
Well, what, are you rewatching the first season?
I'm rewatching Utareru Muno. Yeah, first season.
Well, remember, there's a second season of it you need to watch before this.
Yeah. I might go watch Tokyo Mew Mew because I'm just a weeb.
All right. Well, here's a question before we end this episode. How hyped are you for the newest season of Panty and Stalking?
Oh. Huh.
Wait, did you not hear about that?
Nope.
Well, yeah, it was announced at Anime Expo. There's going to be a new season of Panty and Stalking Garter Bout.
Huh. 6? 7? 6 out of 10. I'm honest.
That's almost a 12-year wait for a sequel.
That's kind of, yeah. Maybe a little bit too long for me there.
Who knows?
I'm more looking forward to next season of stuff, honestly, than Panty and Stocking.
Again, it is quite nice to have seasonal anime be good after what fucking nightmare winter was. Alrighty, this was the latest episode of the EHRPG Podcast. Episode, I don't know anymore.
I don't know.
This has been Guru, and
58?
that was Chewy.
57? I think it's 57.
Maybe.
Oh no, but the thing is, one of those episodes has audio on it that I don't know if I want to release yet. I don't know.
By the way, are you excited for Shangri-La Frontier?
What?
Shangri-La Frontier.
What's that?
It's a new anime announced that has some hype.
I don't know what that one is. I don't know what that is, so I don't know if I'm hyped
what
for
about the new
it.
Trigon?
Oh, I saw the previews of that. This is very the graphics all changed. It's interesting.
Yeah, they're doing 3D with Studio Orange. I'm going to be honest, Studio Orange is probably the best studio to do CGI.
It's interesting looking. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Futo Tante hasn't come out yet this week for this season, or Buchigiri.
Oh, there's a final season of Beastars.
Wasn't that they haven't revealed what season or what the actual date is for that, have they?
No, they haven't.
Just like all the other ones. Slayer, Yojo Senki.
Alrighty then, but this is the latest episode of the RPG episode podcast. I don't know anymore.
57, I believe.
Alrighty, well, this has been Guru, this has been Chewy. We'll sign it off. See y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Don't hate me for this background.